Hello and welcome to the No Balls podcast. I'm your host, Patrick McDonald. With me, co-host Sheldon Kaufman. Today is the New Orleans Pelicans offseason recap episode. We do all 30 teams. We give them their own episode where we talk about their past offseason and we predict what will happen in the upcoming season. Before we get to that, Sheldon has a trivia question for us related to the New Orleans Pelicans. This is going to be awesome. Let's go.
All right. All right, Pat, for today's trivia question, we have who is the all-time leader in assists for the New Orleans Pelicans?
So if this is anybody outside of Chris Paul, I would be very surprised. So I'm gonna go with Chris Paul.
Wow, Pat. I thought I would get you. That's correct. I really thought I'd get you just because of the fact that he played on the Hornets, the New Orleans Hornets, and not the Pelicans. I thought maybe that would get you, but no, not at all. Yeah, so Chris Paul, 4,228 assists during his career with the team.
Now
So, hey, point
the
guard.
2K all-time teams got me right, man. I know which team Chris Paul is technically a part of because of those things. Also because any good player is not on the Hornets. They have been very insignificant over their time in the NBA, unfortunately for them. We will now be talking about the New Orleans Pelicans, who they've had quite the offseason, to say the least. As you can see on the screen, there's some important names there. We'll first start with the 2025 season, which was quite the season, to say the least. 21-61, 14th in the Western Conference, 20-62 expected record, which was 28th, and 28th in SRS with a minus 8.59, which is opponent adjusted net rating. They were not very good last season at home, 14-27, 7-34 on the road. 13-42 pre-All-Star break, 8-19 post, 8-23 versus the Eastern Conference, 13-38 versus the West, and then 14-20 in clutch games. Even though they had a positive 2.5 net rating, which was 14th in the league, they still managed to lose more clutch games than they won with a positive clutch net rating. Way to go, New Orleans. What stands out to you about New Orleans this past season, whether it's on this screen or not?
Real quick, Pat, the SRS, that's strength of schedule, right?
There
Or
is a
was
separate thing that is strength of schedule, and then SRS is like net rating divided by opponent general net rating. It's basically how well do you play the teams that you play.
okay. Oh, okay. But yeah, just a terrible season for this team. Um, you look at it, 13-42 pre All Star break. Pat, they started off the season 5-23, 28, I believe. They lost like a bunch of games in a row. Um, I mean, they couldn't win against the East, which is surprising because at least the bad teams in the West we've seen they've had success against the East, but no success against the East. This was like a ragtag group of friendship players, but there was not a lot of power of friendship between them. They just would sign a bunch of random guys. Alfred Payton, shout out him. He got some playing time this year.
20
Um,
assists.
20 assists. Hell yeah. But yeah, I mean, just really rough. I mean, I think the biggest part was the injuries for sure. Zion, once again, shockingly missed a lot of games. DeJounte Murray missed a lot of games. CJ McCollum was missing games. I'm sure there's others who I can't really remember right now who missed a lot of games, but
On the screen, Trey
Jose
Murphy missed
Trey
a
Murphy,
ton.
Jose Alvarado even missed a bunch of games to start off the season. Herb Jones missed we're naming damn near the whole roster that missed.
I promise you it comes up later. Brandon Ingram even was missing a ton of games before they traded him.
Yes, and we even forget that Brandon Ingram was on the team and did he even play for them? I don't even know if he really played. Maybe like a couple games.
Over under 18 and a half.
Oh, way under. Games?
I feel like that's probably right.
Yeah.
He played 18 total games last season.
Wow, Pat. What a over
all
under.
for New Orleans.
Yeah. So like just really rough. And post All-Star break, I mean, they didn't really have much going for them. They're really, really bad on the road. So a lot of bad stuff. But the guy you're looking at on the screen was a bright spot for them last year. Trey Murphy was incredible for them last year. I think he kind of had a coming out party. Thanks to everyone kind of hurt and injured.
Yeah, I think we rightfully called it preseason. We were like, this is like not a good team already, and then they also stacked the injuries on top of that. Um, and it just ended up in this really rough team. It felt like they would get blown out or they would like lose a clutch game. Not not too many wins overall. Like they blew out teams 7 times in the season.
Yeah.
Like they had 3 times as many clutch losses as they did blowout wins. It was just a really bad year. And like you talked about, like Elfrid Payton isn't even like the craziest name that played for them last season. Like they had a ton of guys play for him last year. I think I tallied it up. It's in the lineup data section. It's there. It was just horrible year. No Pelicans fan. I do they exist anymore? I'm not sure.
I honestly can't say I've ever met a Pelicans fan, like in real life.
Apologies to the Pelicans fans. I don't know how you lived through this season. Um,
A lot of turning off the TV after the first quarter.
yeah, this was a horrible season to watch. Unfortunate for them. We'll talk about their offense. It was 26th in offensive rating this past season at a 110.4, 18th in holding on to the ball and preventing turnovers, 11th in offensive rebounding, 15th in pace. Nothing too standout wise there. Isolation, they were 29th in efficiency. I'll just read their efficiencies. 28th and ball handler, pick and roll ball handler efficiency. Jeez. 24th in pick and roll roller efficiency, 17th in post up efficiency, 15th, or that was 27th in post up efficiency, but 15th in transition efficiency. And then what you see here is like high frequency ball pick and roll ball handler, high frequency roller, bad team signature. Isolation was quite frequent. They didn't post up. Transition, not enough transition. And if you see a low transition frequency that has a higher pace, typically means they were rushing up some shots. Um, what a season from the New Orleans Pelicans. Offense was very unorganized because so many guys were going in and out of the lineup. I don't really think it was a strategic decision by Willie Green. It was just like, well, I guess these are the cards I got. And yeah, I mean, is there anything that describes this offensive season for them better than that, in your opinion?
No, it's bad. This is like really bad. I've never seen so much red on one of these graphics that you've given us before. Um, like literally not like nothing good. I mean, they rebounded the ball, I guess, offensively well, but just so inefficient. Not only inefficient, yeah, but they were inefficient. They weren't scoring at all. Um, and like you said, they run so much pick and roll. There was a game I saw, and it was literally the offense was so bad. It was against the Heat, and they scored 14 points, and 12 of them were from Trey Murphy. Like ridiculous 3 pointers, like 5 feet from behind the line. Like that was their only
Yep.
offense. Trey Murphy chucking up and greening. The pick and roll stuff. That's all they ran pretty much. It felt like watching them, and you can see how ineffective that is. And they weren't even effective at it. Like not even close to being effective. Like 24th is the best one they got besides transition, and they didn't even get to get out into two transition a lot, which is surprising when you have guys like DeJounte Murray. So, oh man, this is really rough, and I hopefully they're gonna address this, and hopefully their offense is just better. Hopefully their offense, please, like a little. This just makes me sad. Um, but yeah, really rough.
In the previous seasons too, they weren't like a great offense and they weren't like a great structural offense, but it was still respectable because of all the talent they would have out there. Brandon Ingram was like kind of their huge floor raiser on offense the past couple seasons, and he played 18 games. and they were not like a great 18 games for Brandon Ingram's standard. They were still good, of course, but like he wasn't playing at his absolute best for them. So, just generally, unfortunately, he averaged 4 turnovers in those 18 games. Like, rough, really rough. Um, Other than that, like, it's just injuries are really rough. They were already behind the bar talent wise. Defensive rating wasn't much better, 29th, 18th in forcing turnovers, 27th in securing defensive rebounds. Really, really unfortunate. Teams were, they were 17th in defending isolation, 15th highest frequency. That's the bright spot. Let's go, guys. That's what we like to see. At least teams kind of ran it on them, because then they were 18th in pick and roll ball handler efficiency. Teams never ran it against them. 30th and roller defense. Teams never really ran it against them, at least, which was 27th, but 1.25 points per possession was like by far the worst number in that category. Post up defense was 29th. Teams ran a 21st frequency percentage of their possessions, and post up, again, they're struggling to defend the posts. They had no big play. We'll talk about their big situation later. Transition teams ran frequently against them, 7th highest frequency against, and then the 12th best transition defense for the New Orleans Pelicans. Really bad defensive situation this past season. What stands out?
Just they weren't able to defend. Maybe that's just because they had so many guys coming in and not really their main defensive guys. Because I mean, you talk about this team, you have good defenders like Herb Jones is a great defender. Alvarado's pesky. Trey Murphy's good on defense. Zion is a tank. Zion never played though, so I think that's interesting to me is like they weren't running the pick and roll against this team, but they were converting so many points. Like they were having so many points converted against them off the pick and roll, but teams were barely running it against them, which is crazy. Transition, that's not good. Like you're letting a lot of teams get out on you and convert on that. You can't rebound the ball, which is terrible. The roller stuff and the post up stuff makes sense because, like you said, they had no big man. Like you had Misi out there, who's a rookie, or Daniel Tice, who, let's be real, he's a power forward, like 6'10", undersized big. Um, Guess they did good isolation. Like I said, good individual defenders, but just really bad on defense. Like, um, yeah, just not good here. Turned the ball over a lot, or they didn't turn the ball over a lot on defense. They couldn't rebound. That's so bad. I talked about it in the last episode. Like defense rebounding is so huge, just so you could end the possession. And when you're already a bad defense, that's kind of stuff can happen. You can't or you can't let other teams get second chance opportunities off of you when when they're already probably going to convert on that first opportunity.
100% agree. Additionally, like on the defensive side of things, like you mentioned all the players that are decent individual defenders. Herb Jones played 20 games. So that wasn't good either. They really struggled to defend point blank. Like Alvarado only played 56 games. Uh, Trey Murphy didn't play too many games either himself. Like it was really unfortunate. Like, and then like when guys were playing, they were often shifted up role wise. Like Trey Murphy was previously a pretty solid defender. He had to do way too much on offense, so he has less effort to expedite on the defensive side of the floor. DeJounte Murray's like the face of that situation where when he was a young player and he didn't have offensive responsibility, he's pretty great defensively. Since he's been an offensive player, not really the case. And I think New Orleans was expecting him to do some stuff defensively for them, and they didn't get that when he was healthy. He also was not healthy. We'll talk about team scheme and coaching staff. Not too much to make out of the scheme from this past season. Willie Green's been a pretty good defensive head coach. He's gotten a lot out of wing players. Shout out to Willie Green. A lot of the shade thrown at this organization is no means directed towards Willie Green. However, GM Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars, they showed up to work first day. They fucked it up, man. Just right away, dude. Like, oh my goodness.
They didn't waste any
Um,
time, huh?
they they wasted no time messing up their reputation at their new job. Um, they showed up and instantly got a customer yelling at them for the manager. Is what happened.
Yeah,
Um, Joe Dumars was previously the NBA, like he was working within the league office with NBA PA and like as a communicator between NBA PA and general managers. Troy Weaver was previously the general manager who so beautifully constructed the 14-win Pistons from a year or two ago, and then jumped ship to the Washington Wizards, and then traded for half of that Pistons team, um, and has now gone to the Pelicans and traded for half of that Wizards team. So here we are, as if he didn't learn. Um, Aaron Miles, Jody Meeks, Corey Brewer scored 50 points in one game. Are all former NBA players who are now assistant coaches under Willie Green. I'll let you get the floor. What do you have to say about scheme, Weaver Dumars, Willie Green?
yeah. I don't have too much to say on scheme. It's like a lot of pick and roll action with a lot of guys staying so still on that line. Not a lot of moving at all. A lot of early threes and possessions, like in transition, they would chuck up threes, like if they were open. Um, yeah, me season drop on defense always. Uh, and guys don't really switch a lot. They try to get around the screens. They try to fight through the screens. But besides that, I didn't see too much with the scheme. Yeah, the trading is a lot. They made some very interesting trades this offseason, namely one at draft night, which I think is the one that you're talking about, Pat, giving up their future for a guy that Willie Green does good with defensive wings or with a lot with wings. Good thing he has a plethora of them on this Hawks or this Pelicans roster now. So I don't know. The GM situation is definitely very not good right now, and they've constructed an interesting team, and they refuse to let go of Zion Williamson, who I feel like if you're gonna trade someone, and if you're gonna trade Zion, you got to do it now because like how much is his value going to deplete? Like, is he gonna play this season, then look good for 2 games, then get hurt again? Like, I would go ahead and trade him, try to get something from Zion, and free up the wings, free up room for the guy you just drafted.
No, let's just free Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. um, I don't know what they did in a past life to deserve this situation. But somehow they have like the cheat code of having two really good NBA wings and like their roster still. We'll talk about it more. It's still a conglomerate mess. Um, but this is also the first year of this new regime, so their vision has yet to be fulfilled. Um,
It's true.
well, yeah, like Troy Weaver, he still might go sign Marvin Bagley, and that'll
No,
save the
no, we
team.
can't. We can't do that. The Wizards are not going to let that happen.
So when he offers Trey Murphy for Marvin Bagley straight up, what's gonna happen?
We're saying, oh, for trade. Ooh. They're going to have to give us at least a second round pick unprotected next year.
Yeah,
And then we'll let it. We can make it. We can make things work.
they'll you know what they'll hook you into uh the pick going to Atlanta. They'll hook you into that somehow. They'll find a way.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, they'll get it done. We'll talk about their draft. Um, we'll say this: we've criticized the move that they made in the draft. The players that they've taken in the draft, I think, are good. Jeremiah Fears goes 7th overall. Derek Queen goes 13th overall. Usually we start with the first player taken, but this is a scenario where we could start either way because they were both taken very close to each other and were very highly ranked draft prospect wise. I know you really like Derek Queen for Washington. Do you want to start with Derek Queen?
Yeah, I'll start Derek Queen with for Washington. I liked him for Washington. I don't know if I like him for the Pelicans, but Derek Queen took America's hearts last year in the March Madness tournament after hitting a clutch shot against Colorado State. Uh, 6'10 with a 7'1 wingspan, 246. Derek Queen, 16 and a half points per game last season as a freshman, 9 rebounds, 1.9 assists, shot 50% from the field and 20% from the 3-point line, Pat. Um, the name to his game is driving and his footwork and getting to the rim. That's what he's really good at. Really good at getting the rim and driving. Really creative with his like Euro steps and hop steps, stuff like that to get to the rim and get open. Kind of like shoving off guys while doing it. Really good stuff there, and he's really good at finishing around the rim. Great post game. Get him in the post. Let him do a little footwork. He's good at it. Really good touch, just really good touch around the rim, floaters, layups. We saw it against Colorado State with a clutch shot, really hard shot too. I can't believe he made that. And he's a good rebounder, Pat. 9 rebounds per game at 6'10", 7'1" wingspan. He's able to use his size a little bit. Good at boxing out. And I think a part of his game that's really underrated and what can make him become like a really, really good big is his passing, Pat. Even though he had 1.9 assists per game last year, I think that you can unlock a little bit with the passing. Even out of the post game too. I think that's where he could excel. And also in the pick and roll, like when he's running the basket and he'd get the ball, he would make quick decisions to find people in the dunker spot or around that 3-point line. The biggest worries you got to worry about him is obviously 3-point shooting. He showed little flashes of it near the end of the season, but overall not a good 3-point shooter at 20%. The rim protection too, not really a guy that's going to go out there and block, even though he's tall and he does have a wingspan. I think that he can work on that a little bit. The defense too, sometimes he gets just unengaged. Motor's a big thing with him. At the beginning of the season at Maryland, he kind of struggled with like conditioning, staying on the court for long periods of time. Um, but yeah, overall, I think you're getting a great. Well, it's hard because his game is going to muddy up a lot with a lot of the other guys because he can't shoot the three, but he's really good at driving to the basket, like incredible at getting to the basket and finishing around there. So yeah, got yourself a wing that can go drive to the basket and be creative too. He's a creative finisher.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 4-5 type player who this past season at Maryland, they were a 114 offensive rating in total. When Derek Queen was on the floor, they had a 117 offensive rating, which is quite crazy from like a college big. I would call him a big more than a wing, even though he'll probably end up playing a lot of the four in the NBA. Um, he's such a great big man ball handler, like driving to the rim. I think is like a key skill for him. I think his ability, you mentioned the hop steps and like putting a body into somebody. He's really good at those things. He's a great finisher at the rim, and he's great using angles and using bumps and creating leverage to create space around the rim. Even if he's not this super explosive athlete, he's just got this super duper touch, and that really plays up. You mentioned the 3-point shot. He shot one a game at 20%. He shot 76% from the line. There's a non-zero chance he can shoot. And if he can shoot, that's a really scary player. The passing's pretty good. You can struggle a little bit if you send a ton of attention at him, but if you're not sending too much at him, like he'll struggle with um like digs into his driving lanes. He'll struggle with those things, but he can make passes to punish aggressive defenses. Um, he's a good passer, a good individual rim shot creator. I really like what Derek Queen brings to the game on the offensive side of the floor. He's also a really good grab and go threat because he's such a great rebounder and such a great passer on the fast break. So I really like a lot of his game. It's just you get to the defense. I think he was like probably the worst measuring athlete ever, really. Um, and it brings some questions on defense. If he could play the five, like if he was just a little bit more athletic, he could play the five and probably be like a cheat code. He has good hands. that's basically where it all ends. He's not like a good shot blocker. And he probably needs to be in a zone defense on that side of the floor. So like there's some offensive upside here for sure with Derek Queen. It's just like the defense could get so rough. Um, but he could just be like such an ass kicker, and I think there's like a non-zero chance he's just like an elite at everything offensive player from the 4 or the 5 position. Um, and some of the names that come up in comparisons like just kind of have to be like boomer bust names. Um, and I'll give you my 2 names that like they were like caveats to a player. Like I said, he's a weak shooter, Karl Anthony Towns, or he is a not athletic Zion Williamson. Which those are big names, but then you're also taking away like their superpower from them individually. And it just makes Derek Queen really hard to evaluate. I ended up having him like in the late lottery range in this draft. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything else on Queen? Any other names? Any other
Yeah,
ranges that you had him in?
but oh, with a big bruiser from back in the day, Zach Randolph. Not a guy that can really shoot the three, but a guy that really good post game, and finishing around the rim. Um, Not really a guy that's going to overwhelm you with the shooting. Just somehow finds a way to score. Uh, and yeah, and then if his passing, like if his passing becomes elite, he could be like a Sengun. But I like the Zach Randolph comparison a little more.
Yeah, I thought about some of the post guys, but I thought what really makes Derek Queen special is the handling. Like I think he's such a good handler for how big he is, and
Mm-hmm.
like even like height wise, like is there really any players like like mass wise that are as good as handling as Derek Queen? Like probably Zion and Karl Anthony Towns is probably it. Really, such a special ball handler, and like hopefully that leads to some skill translating with his finishing, or maybe his shot develops and he can be like a Brook Lopez type of shooter where he shoots deep, catch and shoot threes, and that brings you some value. That's the plan with Derek Queen. Right away, do we think he's like a starter in the league? Is the real question.
In the league or on this team? Well,
Um,
I guess
I
that
guess
comes on.
both. I think just spoiler alert for me, I came away with no for both.
No for both.
But on like some
Yeah,
bad teams, he's
I mean,
starting.
yeah, it would have to be like a perfect situation for him. I don't think a lot of teams are going to be building around Derek Queen. I think right now, for sure, coming off the bench is the move.
The team I wanted to take Derek Queen was Brooklyn, but we'll talk about Brooklyn's draft another day. Um, we'll go to Fears now because he's also a very boomer bust prospect. I think as well. Um, this past season he was geez, it was Oklahoma, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. Um, he was one of the youngest players in college basketball. He's 6'1", under 200 pounds. He's very small, but he was very tasked this past season at Oklahoma as like a 17-year-old for a large percentage of the season and ended up producing some decent results. That responsibility ended up with him getting a ton of free throw attempts, a ton of rim touches. He averaged over 5 free throw attempts per game this past season, and he's able to just consistently get by guys, get to the rim. He's able to change direction extremely well and use quickness to create separation. The issue with Jeremiah Fears is so far he's just really struggled to actually put the ball in the basket. Struggled as a 3-point shooter. It was, I believe, is under 30% from the 3-point line. He was okay on pull-up mid-ranges, close to 35%. And does seem to be like a fine passer, even though he's still got to develop. He was 17 playing college basketball last year. We're not sure really where the high-end playmaking is going to end up being for this guy. Um, but he does at least seem very willing to involve teammates. And yeah, I mean, he could be a lead creator in the NBA. He could also not be. The shot concerns are there. He shot 80% from the free throw line this past season, like in the high 80s. So I'll let you get the floor. What do you think on Fears?
Yeah, I mean, you talked a lot about this stuff. Um, he's good at driving. He's good at getting to the rim, but he's had trouble converting on that, especially later in the season. Um, a good player in the pick and roll game, like a good scorer out of it, like able to drive when he sees people. When he sees bigger defenders on him, he has really nice like handles to get to the rim. And he had a nice little pull up mid range game too out of the pick and roll, which was cool. And a pretty good passer. 4.1 assists per game last season. He showed the ability to pass a lot of wraparound passes that were really cool to watch and just really effective. And like I said, just great handle. I mean, when you're 6'3", it's hard to find your way to the basket, but he ended up doing it a lot this season in a lot of creative ways. But yeah, I mean, I have real concerns about him. I was really happy the Wizards ended up not taking him. Yeah, the 3-point shooting, 28% last season. And then he had finishing around the rim was a big concern. I think he shot like 50% around like at the basket last season, which is just not good. And then at sometimes, like he said, good passer, but his decision making at times could be a little iffy. He had some turnovers, big moments, and a lot of turnovers in games. But there's definitely a lot to like for him. I'm not that high on Jeremiah Fear, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think there's real concerns in his game, but uh, they got their point guard. They got their point guard now after trading off CJ McCollum. So
I'll ask
or
you this: who did you like more between Fears and Jace Richardson?
Jace Richardson, 100%.
I kind of did too. I ended up with Fears one spot higher just because like I got consensus talk that was like, all right, the super high end ceiling's definitely there for Fears. It's just probably very unlikely he gets there. But I ended up with Fears at 15 and Queen, I believe at like 13, I think. So, um, I did, think that there is the ceiling there for both of these guys, but it's going to take a little bit. And if you're a Pelicans fan, you got to hope that you didn't just end up with your Isaiah Stewart and Killian Hayes. Um, because
Nightmare duo.
there's
My nightmare duo.
nightmare duo. At least Stewart's good, right? Um, one of these guys should be good.
So I don't know if that ranks how someone good is, but that is a
Yeah,
thing. He fought
I think
LeBron.
there's a very much non-zero chance that Fears and Derek Queen were like the number 4 and 5 players on the Pelicans board. Um, I guess we should talk about the trade with Atlanta because they gave up their first round pick next season to move up 10 spots to take Derek Queen. Not only is it their pick, but it's also like if Milwaukee's pick is better than theirs, it's a swap. So way to go, New Orleans. Like they there's two teams that like could easily crash and burn next season and they would have had the pick for it and they said no, we'll just send that to Atlanta. And that's rough to me. That's really rough in my opinion. Yeah,
And
what do
like
you
especially like not only that, but the guy you got was a wing that can't shoot, and you have a very crowded wing room here. So like, is there even an avenue for him to play? Because he can't play center in the NBA, right? Did you agree
un-
with that?
I don't I don't know if he can play the 4 though. Is that I kind of
Yeah,
think
but
he's
if he doesn't play the four, there's no way that he's going to get playing time over Murphy and Herb Jones. Like he's
I
and
yeah,
and
I think
Hawkins
he
is
kind of has to play center is the thing.
yeah, yeah. And then you're like that's worse than Daniel Tice out there, man, on defense. Like
I'll say this, Maryland was still really good defensively with Queen out on the floor, but
yeah,
like
but like in college they run a lot more zones more frequently, you know, and
yeah,
like how willing is coach gonna be to put in a zone like as consistently as Derek Queen can needs it. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of teams don't do like zones the majority of the game. They'll switch to it for a couple of possessions and switch out of it. But I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be hard for him. It's
Who's
it's a,
more?
it's a crazy trade. It's a crazy trade.
Yeah. Out of these two guys, who do you think is more challenging defensively? Because I think that's actually a really tough question.
Like who's more of a challenge to go against if you're offensive player.
No, a challenge to build a competent defense
Oh,
with them on
okay.
the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah. Um, I think I think Derek Queen because you can at least with fears build wings around and then get like a big center, like to funnel, so you can funnel the perimeter into the defense and get a good rim protector. But with Derek Queen, you would have to have like he doesn't give you rim protection, and it's going to be hard for him to like be active in pick and roll sets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I kind of see that, but I also think like if Derek Queen was on Boston, it would have probably still been fine.
Yeah,
I don't know about that for fears. I don't know. The rebounding is like the one thing that's keeping Derek Queen like as a possibility to play the five, in my opinion, and that I think that's where he kind of needs to play. And we'll talk about it with Zion, but I think a lot of that has layered in with Zion, where like he kind of needs to play the five or like be your point guard, and they just haven't really fully leaned into it yet. We'll move forward. Trades and free agents. We mentioned they traded for Sadiq Bey and Jordan Poole from Washington. Kevon Looney signs 16 over 2. Jaden Springer's currently on an Exhibit 10 contract. Bryce McGowan's, Trey Alexander, and Hunter Dickinson are on trigger warning contracts. Um, yeah, I mean, Jordan Poole, I think, is significant because DeJounte Murray is expected to miss a large majority of the season with his torn Achilles. Um, does anything else really stand out here for you?
um, I think that the Jordan Poole one is pretty big for them. I guess like you do get a really good point guard. Jordan Poole had a career year last year. Um, he is on another bad team, so like I do think that he might like chuck up a lot of shots this year. Not chuck up, but like take a lot of shot opportunities away from other guys. But I think Jordan Poole's a great addition. Like you at least have some threat of an offense. I think offensively he's better than CJ McCollum and um, DeJounte Murray struggled a lot last season, right? So bringing this guy in is huge for them. Um, and then Sadiq Bey's nice. Sadiq Bey's a nice little addition, I think. I talked about him last year with Washington. I really wanted to see him play just because, damn, he was looking good last season with Detroit. So I think, I mean, it's nice to get him. Kevin Looney, you get a little bit of a big, he's a better backup big than
Tice?
Daniel Price would be. So I think Kevin Looney's a nice little addition for them too.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there's much to their other moves, but it helps a little bit, I guess. We'll talk about all of their losses because there were so many of them. Brandon Boston Jr., Alfred Payton, Keon Brooks Jr., Jeremiah Robinson Earl. There are two more that couldn't even fit on the screen. Lester Quinones is one of them, and Antonio Reeves is another one of them. All of those guys are unsigned. Jamal Cain goes to Orlando. Kyler Kelly goes to the Lakers. CJ McCollum's on the Wizards. Kelly Olynyk's on the Spurs. And Bruce Brown, he's added the junior, is on the Denver Nuggets. Um, yeah, what do we think about these losses?
Um, I mean, like you said, a lot of guys unsigned, a lot of guys that were like panics, not panic signings, but they needed fucking players last year, so they had to sign guys. McCollum, that's a big one, right? He was a big part of their offense last season. But I think that you bring in Jordan Poole, I think that negates the loss. Kelly Olynyk was pretty good for him last season, but I mean, he stretched the floor. Um, I don't think it's like a huge thing for him to lose. Like honestly, all things considered, these losses aren't detrimental. I feel like.
Also, this I think Kelly Olynyk could have really helped them because it would have allowed them to play Derek Queen at the five or at the
Yeah.
four because there would be a spacer next to him and like you still wouldn't be able to protect the rim, but you'd be big. You'd have five out spacing next to like this guy who ideally is like this really good lead creator. Olynyk would have helped them. I don't know if they needed to trade him. I think if they wanted to take Sadiq Bey, then they had to do that. But should they have done that? I don't know. I probably wouldn't have because Olynyk's like okay. We'll see if Sadiq Bey is all right coming off the torn ACL, but Washington did not want to indulge in figuring that out. So, I mean, otherwise, I think like more or less the McCollum Poole thing is probably about the same. Poole might actually be more reliable in like playing games, and that matters. And then Bruce Brown, not even sure how many games he played for you last season, so can't really say that was a huge loss. He played 41 total games, and I'd imagine a lot of those were with Toronto. Yeah, only 23 games with New Orleans, so didn't really lose too much. And like a lot of these guys played for the team significantly last year and are currently unsigned. Here's their sheets. Zion, as you can see, none of his money's guaranteed. I'm kind of thinking that if this doesn't work, they're just gonna cut him, and they're not going because
So none of it's guaranteed. So like they can cut them, and it'd be like there's no dead cap or anything.
yeah, NFL style cut.
Nice. At least they did
Um,
right.
yeah, they non-guaranteed Zion's contract after he played 100 games his first 3 years. I feel like every team probably would have done that. Um, Jordan Poole, adding his money, you can argue, screws up their books a little bit, but nobody is signing in free agency with New Orleans. So there's that. They extended Trey Murphy like after we did their episode last year. His contract's pretty good. It's 30 million, like 27 million over these next 4 years. That's good. Herb Jones is finishing up his deal, and they signed him to an extension. It's like 67 million over 3 seasons. That's actually like a really good deal. We give the front office a bunch of shit, but that's really good. Oh yeah, and the Zion non-guarantees was from like a couple front offices ago. So we're not going to give Dumars credit for that. But the Herb Jones signing, pretty good. I don't know how they got him to agree to that, especially right after Mikal Bridges got 38 million a year. Herb Jones'
Ooh.
agent was like, "Yeah, take that money. Let's go, dude."
I
Um,
see big things in New Orleans, so let's do it.
I guess the difference is Mikal Bridges has played like 1,000 games in a row, and Herb Jones just played 20 last year. So I guess that's the difference. I don't know. It's still crazy. Yeah, you can look cap space wise. They won't have cap space for another year or two. I think they could technically cut Zion and get up to like 80 million in 26, 27. So have fun doing that. Um, I think they could interestingly become a like salary cap dumping team if if Boston wanted to get off of all of their guys and trade for Zion and then cut Zion, they could have done that, and that would have been funny. Because the world would have gone crazy about Tatum and Zion teaming up, and then they would have never played together. But that unfortunately didn't happen. Lineup data. This is all I have. All right, 25 players played for the team this past season. Only one player played 70 plus games. Take a guess who it was.
Misi.
It was Misi.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, so their leader in Misi played like 73 games, I believe. The numbers are about to pop up in front of me. And then next after that was like Trey Murphy with like 52 games played, or no, okay. Right after that was Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
There
Keep
you
in
go.
mind, currently unsigned.
Yep.
Played 66 games. Then it was like a couple guys playing mid 50s in games. Just such a crazy thing. Zion played 30. Shante Murray played 30. Yeah, way to go, New Orleans. didn't want to take any of the lineup data. Like I couldn't make anything out of it. So lineups, I came away with Jordan Poole starting just because Murray's going to be out until like middle of the season. So I kind of just put Murray on the depth chart and didn't know what to do with that. Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Zion, Yves Missi. What do you think about the squad?
Yeah, that's what I would do. I like that a lot. I think Trey Murphy definitely deserves to start after the contract he got, and just the fact that he played so damn good last season. I think it's an interesting little squad. Could be play-in team maybe with everyone healthy, everyone completely healthy. Who knows though?
Yeah, I'm not betting on it. Um, as you can see, I kind of think they see Derek Queen as the Zion replacement. Um, like we talked about the names and like how would Zach Randolph and Zion Williamson ever coexist together? Um, it's kind of like what are they cooking? Probably nothing. They might burn down the kitchen, and then yeah, I'm like pretty confident that's actually how they see it. They had crazy high demands for Trey Murphy and trade this offseason, as they should. So he never got moved. Probably the same thing with Herb Jones. Um, any of these bench guys that you want to talk about that we haven't got a chance to? Your breakout guy Jordan Hawkins is chilling there.
Hawkins had a decent season last year. Definitely not a breakout season, but he's still a really good 3-point shooter. So definitely look out for him. Besides that, man, not really anything to say. I mean, Alvarado's always a fun player to watch.
Yeah, for sure. You, he'll run behind you, get steals. Um, I have to apologize. Forgot to include Micah Peavy. So
He's
in
there.
the yeah, in the draft part, forgot to include him.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I mean he was really good, really disruptive in passing lanes, averaged 2.5 steals. The shot came along in his final year of college. That wasn't a thing before. If you really believe in the shot continuing to be good, then Micah Peavy could be a good NBA player. He's also very old right away, so he can possibly contribute. Right now, I believe he's already 25 years old. Um, so yeah, he can potentially help. And then I don't know how included Kelly Olynyk on.
yeah, I was about to say. You just wanted it. I know.
I
It's okay. No, it's okay.
Oh, I know what happened. Yeah. So what happened is I took I copied and pasted the Spurs stuff, and when I went to go change it to the Pelicans, I was like, oh yeah, Olynyk's on the team. That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
And I just kept him there because he was on the Spurs. So shout out to Kelly Olynyk. You almost got on here twice. They do have an extra roster spot. Um, I don't know. I don't know what they should use it on, but I
Campaign.
don't think they do. Do you think they know what they should use the roster spot on?
Dumars is going to end up bringing Jeremy Lin out of retirement.
John Wall. Ooh. Kevin Knox is available, and Troy Weaver loves Kevin Knox. So
And he did play for the Warriors last season.
it's true. James Wiseman, they could trade for James Wiseman.
Is he still on the Pistons?
Pacers.
Oh, he's still on the Pacers?
Oh, and he's recovering from an Achilles, so him and DeJounte can do it together.
But he should be back sooner because his shit happened at the beginning of last year's season.
Yeah, like 2 games in.
Maybe one game
Um,
in. I think it was the first game. That's fucked. That's so fucked.
yeah, him and Isaiah Jackson like right away did it for the Pacers. They had 3 Achilles tears last year.
Insane.
So I don't know, maybe you can get both, and then you have like ultimate team chemistry with those 3 guys.
They know what it's like.
Yeah. Um, anyway, we'll move forward from the lineups to the core questions. Do we think the Pelicans improved their roster this offseason?
Yeah, they improved. What do y'all
I'm gonna
know?
end up with like
Oh,
no.
for they improve?
I feel like it's just like the two. Yeah, did they improve?
Yeah, you said no. What do you why?
Oh shoot, my fault. I was completely misunderstanding what you're saying. Um, I'm gonna say no. It just looks like a 2K like CPU transaction log. Like, not sure what they're trying to cook up right now, but I don't like their bench lineups are gonna have Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen on them. Like, how good do you think that's gonna go? Like, it's gonna be
Yeah,
rough right away.
yeah. I'm gonna say they improved because it can't get much better. It can't get much worse than last season. Um, Also, you bring in Jordan Poole, who, at least in my eyes, is better than CJ McCollum. So I guess you get an improvement there. And then, what was the other trade they made? Oh, yeah, they just got a bunch of Wizards from that. Yeah, and then, like, the guys they lost weren't really notable. I guess Kelly Olynyk, but I mean, the biggest addition is health for them, to be honest. Like, if their guys stay healthy, that's a huge addition for them. So, I mean, I'm going off did they improve just on the fact that they were so bad last year. It's hard not to improve. Like, anything's better than Alfred Prayton out there and whoever the hell else they had.
Lister Quinones, like, geez, they were cooking. They were cooking last year. I mean, if you're accounting for injuries, like I think like it is better. Um, I feel like the actual roster probably is like slightly worse, but if you're accounting for that, they got like a combined 100 games out of Zion, Trey Murphy, CJ, or Zion, Trey Murphy, uh, DeJounte, and Herb Jones, then yeah, I can see it being better. Set themselves up better for the future. I am going to say no.
Same here, Pat. Same here.
Just like none of the moves coherently make sense individually or together. They took on salary in the trade where they got CJ McCollum. They gave up a top five potential pick. I fail to see what they're doing. I don't get it. Um, Same rationale for you, I'd assume.
Yeah. Also, I'm not in love with some of the guys. I'm not in love with one of their draft picks and the fact that they traded away their pick, their unprotected pick. Next year, in a year where you're probably not going to be too good, and 2026 is still going to be a good draft class. So I think they kind of fumbled the ball there.
I'm so surprised they didn't trade up to get Ace Bailey. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I bet the Jazz would be foaming at the mouth to get whatever the Pelicans pick was
I
this
think
year.
no, I'm surprised they didn't call like if do you think they offered the Hornets the trade like the number like the pick, the Hawks pick?
That's what I'm saying. You could have done your pick this year, and if like obviously you don't give a fuck about that other pick from next year. So if you give them that, they would definitely have done that with you. Because I don't think Con falls that far, but you still get a good player and you get a lot of like picks. Oh wait, no, the
Yeah.
Pelicans were drafting like seven. Yeah, they could
Yeah.
have easily. Yeah, they should have done that, and then the Hornets would have done that because Khan still would have been available. And I don't think the Jazz are picking Khan, and neither are the Wizards. So
O- Originally the Hornets and Wizards had a trade lined up for the Wizards to go up and draft somebody else, and then the Hornets were going to try and get Khan at six because like Khan was definitely their guy, and I think Ainge like completely like fooled
fuck them.
them.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
he
like, I'm
fooled
gonna
them and
take.
was like, yeah, they were like, we're gonna draft Khan just because they wanted Ace Bailey to fall. Um, so I guess way to go, Danny Ainge. Uh, like the one thing you've done good the past 3 years. Um,
The
but
sneaky guy
like,
who knows how to play the, you know.
like if they would have traded the Derek Queen or the Jeremiah Fierce pick and the pick that they traded to Atlanta to jump from 7 to 4 it would have still been a bad trade, but we would at least understand the process. Like, you think Ace Bailey's the best player outside of Cooper Flag in the drafts? Sure, whatever. You know what I mean? But you get let's just get the 12th and the 15th best player in this draft instead, and still give up that pick. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Offensive MVP for this upcoming season, I don't want to answer that. You go first.
Uh, Gotta go with JP13, baby. The pool party. He's gonna be making it so wet down there in New Orleans. Yeah, but real talk. I mean, I really don't know who else it would be. I mean, of course Zion, but I'm gonna go Jordan Poole. I think he gives you the offensive capabilities from the 3 point line, and maybe he'll pass the ball a little bit this year.
Trey Murphy, let's go. He can shoot. He
Yep.
can attack closeouts like
Yep.
extremely well. I feel like he's their best offensive player. And that's because I am counting Zion playing 42 games this season. So
Yeah. Me too.
I'm just, I will forever, like, when I rank players, I will have the categories that people rank, and I will move Zion to the very back of the category that he's in because he's not going to play. Um, Defensive MVP, I'm going to go with Herb, and I'm sorry that
Same.
he has to carry this defense.
Yeah. Same. My same pick for me.
And then for me, X Factor, it's really tough. I think you could argue that it's Joe Dumars and what he does in the middle of the season. You you could argue it's the team dietitian, what he does with Zion and Derek Queen, if he can get those guys into shape. Um, the New Orleans food is
It's good,
real
man. Have you
countering.
ever had
Yeah,
gumbo? Have you ever had gumbo? That shit's gas.
yeah,
I would say.
yeah. I
Gotta try
guess
it one
it,
time. Try it one time.
I'm gonna go with Zion's health. It's like the obvious
Yeah.
answer.
Okay. That's what I was gonna say Zion's health or Derek Queen. Like if he's like able to actually play, like kind of what we said, like where he's gonna fit. If he finds a role in this team, I think that'd be pretty big for them. But yeah, Zion's health for sure.
Yeah. One last exercise. I'm gonna put you in the chair of Joe Dumars. Zion plays 65 games, makes an All NBA second or third team this season. What are you doing next offseason with Zion?
Trading him, 100%.
Like right away.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's the
calling
only time
everyone.
his time. That's the only time his value is going to be high enough, you know. So I'm gonna say trade him. Yeah, I'm also not a really big Zion fan, so there's a little bit of bias there too. But yeah, I'm gonna say trade him. I feel like that's the only time the value is gonna be good, you know.
I am a pretty big Zion fan, and I don't think they get anything for him right now. Like, I don't think. I mean, you could argue that they would get like Jeremy Grant's terrible contract, but I think that's worse for New Orleans because you have to pay that Jeremy Grant contract. You don't have to pay Zion. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you can cut him at any time. I think he would get his salary for this season, but if you can cut him next summer before like June 6th, then you don't have to pay him. So good thing we are the Warriors and Wizards. um, for those who don't know, that upcoming My League, uh, dual team My League, I guess is what we're doing, is what we'll call it.
No
And
way.
Sheldon will be taking control of the Wizards. I will be taking control of the Warriors. That should be starting in like late September, probably. It's like the
Yeah, we gotta get
ETA
those
on that.
funds up.
Yeah.
2K
As
funds
soon
are
as
low right
yeah, as soon as we like catch up on these, we'll start the rebuild stuff. Anyway, do you have anything else on New Orleans before we wrap this one up?
now. No, I think I've said my piece.
Yes. Next episode will be the Dallas Mavericks. Could have maybe is that like the greatest shift between what the
Yeah,
hell's going on? Like
yeah. Even though
New
Nico
Orleans to
Harrison
Dallas.
might have been the Joe Dumars of the podcast, of, or he might have got the same flack Joe Dumars just got from us if he didn't luck into the Cooper Flag deal. Let's not
Who
forget,
said?
not the best GM lucked into that.
wh- Who's saying that's saving him though?
Everyone, no, you haven't seen that. I feel like
Well, it
yeah.
saved his job, but it's not saving him from the scrutiny we're gonna give him. I'll say that.
For sure, no, not from us, but the general public, yeah, they don't care anymore.
Oh, he's a genius.
Yes, he's a
Anyway,
genius. He picked Cooper Flag with the first. Oh my gosh, that's actually genius. I never thought about that.
dude, and
Cooper
the
Flag with
Spurs
the first
selected
overall pick.
Wemby. Pat on the back. Let's go.
Okay, that's good though because there was at least like some controversy with Scoot Henderson. He could have been number one, so they had a tough decision to make there.
Yeah, the high schoolers really wanted Scoot. Um, anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up. We'll see you in the Mavericks episode.